All right, so are you ready to dive deep into some seriously impressive tennis?
I am. I am. Always ready to talk tennis, especially after a final like that.
I mean, Jannik Sinner at the Australian Open.
Yeah,
What a performance.
truly something special. We're talking dominance on another level.
Exactly. So for this deep dive, we're breaking down the 2025 Aussie Open men's final. Sinner versus Zverev, a match that had everyone on the edge of their seats beforehand. But Sinner, well, he kind of rewrote the script, didn't he?
He did. He really did. And we're going to unpack exactly how he pulled off this incredible win. We'll look at the key moments, the stats, and the tactics that made all the difference.
Sounds good to me. So let's get right to it. Sinner versus Zverev, the final showdown. What was the initial feeling heading into this match?
Well, you had two incredibly talented players, both at the top of their game. On paper, it looked like it could go either way, a real nail-biter. A lot of people were expecting a five-set thriller.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth. But Sinner comes out and shuts that down pretty quickly, right?
Oh, absolutely. Straight sets victory for Sinner, 6-4, 7-6, and then a decisive 6-3 in the third. No messing around.
Dominant. So let's talk about some of the key factors here.
Mhm.
Sinner's serve was absolutely on fire during this tournament. He was averaging, what, like 12 aces a match?
Yep, you got it. And in the final, he served up 12 aces to Zverev's 8. And it wasn't just the number of aces, it was how he was using his serve.
Right, like strategically,
Yeah.
to dictate the point from the get-go.
Exactly. Sinner was placing his serves with incredible accuracy, putting Zverev on the defensive right from the start. He was just constantly under pressure.
I remember one point, specifically in the first set, Zverev thought he had Sinner on the run, but Sinner chased down this drop shot and then boom, unbelievable cross-court forehand winner. Zverev didn't even move.
That forehand is a thing of beauty, isn't it? Not just power, but that precision placement, too. Just pinpoint accuracy.
Yeah, you really saw that difference in the stats, too, especially with the unforced errors. Sinner finished the match with 18, while Zverev had 25. That's a pretty big gap at this level.
Yeah, huge. At its core, tennis is a game of minimizing your mistakes while forcing your opponent into theirs. And those unforced errors, they're essentially giving points away in a Grand Slam final. You just cannot afford to do that.
Especially against a player like Sinner who's ready to pounce on any opportunity.
Exactly. And that's where those break points become so crucial. Sinner converted 3 out of his 7 breakpoint opportunities, while Zverev couldn't convert any of his 4.
And you could really feel the pressure mounting on Zverev, especially in that second set when he had that, how do we put this delicately, that outburst over his racket strings.
Yeah, that was a tough moment for him. You could see the frustration building. And you have to give Sinner credit for not letting that moment rattle him. He just stayed focused, kept his cool, and kept applying the pressure.
Yeah, his composure was remarkable. And this victory is historic on a couple of levels, right?
Oh, absolutely.
This win makes Sinner the first player since 2006 to successfully defend his maiden Grand Slam title.
Wow. Talk about an achievement. And there's more. He's also only the third player in the last 20 years to win 3 consecutive hardcourt Grand Slam titles. That puts him in the same conversation as legends like Federer and Djokovic.
Unbelievable. And then you add in the fact that he's won, what was it, 22 consecutive sets against top 10 opponents?
Yeah.
He just broke Federer's record, which is just mind-blowing. What do you think it is about Sinner's game that allows him to dominate like this, especially against these top-ranked players?
Well, it's a combination of things, right? It's his technique, for sure, but it's also his mental toughness,
Yeah.
his tactical intelligence. He doesn't just hit the ball hard. He thinks about every shot. He analyzes his opponents, figures out their weaknesses, and exploits them ruthlessly. And on top of all that, he's got incredible court coverage.
Yeah.
He can get to almost any shot, turn defense into offense in the blink of an eye.
And looking ahead, what do you think this win means for Sinner's chances at the French Open and Wimbledon later this year?
Well, he's definitely going into both tournaments as a major contender.
Mm.
The clay courts at Roland Garros will be a different challenge, of course, but with the form he's in right now, I wouldn't bet against him.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what stands out to you as the biggest takeaway from Sinner's Australian Open victory?
For me, it's a sign that a new era of tennis is truly upon us. We're seeing a new generation of players like Sinner who aren't afraid of anyone, who bring incredible power, athleticism, and most importantly, a fearless mentality to the court. They're pushing the boundaries of the sport, and that's exciting to watch.
It really is. So for our listeners out there, what's something they can ponder as they follow the rest of the tennis season?
I think a good question to consider is, what is it about this new generation, about players like Sinner, that allows them to achieve such incredible success, especially against those established top-ranked players? What sets them apart?
That's a great question. One that we'll certainly be keeping in mind as we continue to watch these young stars rise. And remember, for our next deep dive, we want you to bring your own sources, your own questions, and join us as we explore the ever-evolving world of tennis. Until then, keep serving aces.
And keep exploring.